Good morning. I'm Reverend Judy Anderson, and it's my privilege and my joy to welcome you here this morning to the Center for Spiritual Living Red Deer on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning for our celebration of love and life. And I take those words very seriously, or very joyously, a celebration of love and life that hopefully doesn't end at noon or when we leave this building, but it can be an ongoing thing. So to begin, let's read our opening affirmation together. Today, all things are made new. I choose to release old beliefs that have limited my experience of good. I know myself as unlimited possibility, ready to express life with greater joy, greater love, and greater creativity. I accept that all good is available to me, and so it is. And we have an announcement or two. If you have a program in your hands, there's a membership form in it, so you can sign up as a member of the Center for 2022. And our bingo is over. Did we have a bingo? No. There was no bingo. All right. Well, you know what? I thank you if you had volunteered for the bingo that couldn't happen. I've got one other announcement. I want you to be aware, if you're here today or if you're considering coming, that our provincial regulations at the present time for places of worship say masks and social distancing are required. So please comply with that to protect the people around you. I know 2 members of our center right now that are at home with COVID. So we don't want to spread it around. Thank you for your consideration. And for our children, we don't have any present, but if you're watching, your word for the day is one you probably won't be happy about. It's obedience. And the purpose of obedience is to guide you and protect you. When you are obedient, you abide by the rules, even if you do not like them, even when no one is watching. To be obedient is to be trustworthy. Do you want to be trusted and you want to be able to trust others? Then let's say our affirmation, which is, I guess I'd better say it first. I obey the call of my higher self. Now together, I obey the call of my higher self. And every child who is listening or whose parents are watching and repeating this to them, I say thank you. Thank you for the young spirit, the young life and enthusiasm that you bring to our center. And we go now, one more announcement. We finally have our January Science of Mind magazines. So if you're wanting one of those, they're out front in the rack. They're $5. And you know what the recommended price for them is? It's something like $7.95. So it's a bargain when you get one here for $5. With that, let's go to our message for today. And our January theme is living everyday wonder. That's pretty special. And if we consider that every morning we got up, thinking about living everyday wonder, what a difference it might make to us. But today's talk title is Embrace the Now. And Reverend Tress, nobody to do it better, to tell us how to embrace the how. Let's welcome Reverend Tress. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Judy. Good morning, everyone. And I'm going to say, how are you? And how are you today? No. How are you today? Okay, now we're talking. Okay, let's get down to business here. I am Reverend Tress Phillips, and I am so happy to welcome you right here, right now, to the Center for Spiritual Living, Red Deer, Alberta, Canada, January 16, 2022. And there'll be no other moment like now than right now. I just love this topic. You know, it's an honor and a joy to be here. It really is. It's a lot of studying to be a minister. Frustration, sometimes traveling, and just the traveling. I am the wimpy traveler, so that was a real challenge. Oh, my husband is giving me the mic. Is that better? Okay, you can hear me now. I think you did it on purpose, husband. You were making it lower because you were so tired of listening. Oh my goodness, what would I do without him? But I welcome you wherever you are, right here, right now. Wherever you are, here as a person, wherever you are online, whatever time of day it is, whatever country you're in. You could even be in a prison. You could be in a hospital. I don't know where you are, but wherever you are, you're right here, right now, at this moment that you are listening. And I'm talking to you. And I don't want to sound like a mean school teacher. I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you because I know you're important. Okay, you've heard other people say that maybe a few times. I'm serious. I know you are important. I know you are worth it. I know it. If you're breathing, you're alive. If you're alive, you were made by a higher power. If you were made by a higher power, that means you were made for a purpose. And if you were made from a higher power, you're here for a purpose. How dare I ever not think of you as good? How dare I? So honor yourself. So thank you for taking the time to be here and embracing the now. So there is only now. There's not 5 minutes ago. There's not in the future, because there's only here. And when the way I can really embrace it when I get thinking of the past or thinking of the future is right here, right now is where it's happening. This may be the past. I'm not in the camera. I'm way over here. It's past. There's no action going on. This is the now. Oh, but tomorrow, what's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen tomorrow? Well, I'm not in tomorrow yet. I'm in the now over here. All I can live in is the now. The only time I can change is in the now. And the only time I can see the beauty and the joy of life is now. The only time I can really hug the people I want is when I'm with them. The only time I can connect with people is by a phone, whatever, is in the now. So how are we living our lives? When I am doing a talk, a Sunday talk, I always do spiritual mind treatment, and I treat to know the right and perfect topic to talk on. I'm given an idea, I have a direction, but I really need some meat on the bone. So for me, I do treatment. What is it I really need to address? And I treated and I waited, and just kind of like the flat screen or line going across. Saturday morning, it came. And oh my goodness, it was just about the best thing. Every Saturday morning we go to a trolley. It's an old trolley. It's a 1950s trolley. It has the booths and the stools and the the different type of linoleum and all these old posters from the old monster movies in the 50s and 60s, and we're regulars there. And we're sitting there, and here walks in, oh, it's so adorable. Here walks in a young dad, and he has the little guy with him. Now, here is little guy, maybe 2, and he's, of course, following Dad along, looking up at Dad. And Dad put him on a stool right next to us, opposite us. The little wee guy on this big giant stool up at the counter, and he sits beside him. And he ordered coffee, and he ordered a little drink for the little guy, but it's in a big person coffee mug. And he's showing the little guy how you drink your coffee and all of that. And I thought, oh, this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. I just would see the back of them. So I got up and I said, may I ask you a question? I said, I would like to take a picture of you with your camera if you want, because this is a one-time opportunity for a picture of you and your son. So I took about 5 pictures of them, and you could just see their backs. But here he is, this probably 6-foot-something guy, and this little wee fellow, and I saw love. And I saw joy. And I know that when this man looks at these pictures, he is going to remember that moment, that now moment, that was just to take the little guy for coffee in his heart forever. But that was the beginning of the meat on the bone for this talk. Because I thought, well, that's the starting of a legacy. That is the dad, and that is the son, and the little boy might remember Dad taking him and get to sit up in the big chairs with the big people and the nice ladies. And so we sit down again, I sat down again, and my phone rings. So I answer it. Well, here it's time for my son to pick up our old camper that he's converted to a fishing hut. So I thought, okay, Russ, we better get going. So we drive back home. And there I see my son and my grandson and my husband trying to hoist this old camper onto the back of a truck. And of course, I'm taking pictures and thinking, well, I hope they get it right. And I stayed inside because I have way too many suggestions that nobody ever wants to hear. And I don't blame them. But it was the legacy. There we had the male love, the male bonding, the father and son. And I know that this is a message of the love of family, the love of connection. We are a family here. People we work with are a family. There is a love, there is a connection. If we live in an apartment, we may have a little family there. We have our people, and we connect with them. But it doesn't stop. It's not like a just now. It goes on. But what I do now is what makes the impression on the future. I thought, okay, I better write a receipt for my son for this camper he's converted, so he has the legal ownership. So I went and grabbed a receipt book. I hadn't used it for years. I grabbed it and I opened it up, and I did treatment for the right and perfect. I wanted to know that the serial number, everything like that, make everything legal for him owning this camper. And here in that receipt book was the 1984 receipt that my father had written when he sold us that camper. 1984, and I thought, holy, there's the legacy all over again. My father, me, and my husband, my son, my grandson, 4 generations, all tied together through the love and the creativity, like the go fishing, the go camp, whatever it is. But there was that love connection, and it was all males again. What a love story. So what is our legacy? Well, the funny thing is we were watching the news this morning and it talked about the message in the bottle, and some of you may have seen it. And it was a young boy and his neighbor, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. They put a message in a bottle in Maryland, threw it in the ocean. And this couple in Ireland were walking along the beach and they found the bottle with the message. And they got a hold of the fellow's son, the fellow's dad, and connected with the fellow. Now his buddy, the neighbor, has passed away now, but this continued on, went across the whole ocean, and it brought back all these memories and all this joy. So every step we take, everything we do leaves an impression around us, just like footprints in the snow. What legacy is ours? Another receipt, there was only one other receipt in that book, and it was for the sale of my 1969 Chev Malibu. Now that was a real muscle car. And I got thinking, when I would drive that, I bought it to go to work with, and I'd drive it to work, and I'd stop at the lights, and the young guys would come by me, and they'd be waiting for me to peel off, and they'd be looking over at me, and I'd be looking over at them, and off they'd go, and I'd just teeter along, driving to work. And I got thinking, and I got laughing so hard because I thought, you know what? I love old classic cars. I could have, if I would have had that car, I could have the license plate, the Rev on it. And I could have been having this online show and hand out my cards, the Rev with the Rev, and just, and it's just hilarious when you look at all the things that could have happened. And that car that I sold for $400, that I bought for $500, is worth about $50,000 today. I was looking it up. I think it's like a 353. I don't know. It's one of those motors that you to die for if you want speed and get going. And I'd love that car back, but it's just the fun of it all. The memories of writing all this stuff down, just like our memories, they're always there. We're always leaving an impression, a legacy. What in heck are we leaving? Now, embracing the now, it's actually, there is, and if you look, it's written right on the back here, embrace the now, and it is an actual convention that starts on Tuesday in Indian Wells, California, for the Centers for Spiritual Living, and it's for about 4 days. And what they write is the key purpose is to guide everyone in awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence, which is one of the key goals of our teachings at church. I've had many, many people say, well, what the heck's this church about? What's it about? And to find the right words, simply, it's about awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence, discovering our divine oneness with the divine mind. It's time to reawaken ourselves. At least I know I'm always wanting and learning to increase my spiritual magnificence. For it's not me that is working through me. It is the one mind, the divine mind, in, as, and through all things, that is the life force within me. Our monthly theme is living everyday wonder. Awareness and appreciation of wonder can only happen in the now, the right here, the right now. I want you to really think about the now. And the only way that I can think to really demonstrate it is just to say a few words like this. Stop breathing. Breathe now. Stop breathing. Breathe now. You're alive when you're taking that breath. You're alive when you're connecting with the higher power, the divine mind. You may call the higher power God. You may call the higher power Buddha. You may call the higher power universal mind. Whatever you call my blessed, some people referred to the higher power. It is none of my business what you call your higher power. It is your connection with that divine so you can recognize your magnificence. So with the breathing and the stopping and then the breathing, there is only that now moment. But every moment we're alive is a new moment to experience life. Romans 13:11 says, now is the time to awake out of sleep. So the belief in a life apart from good is a dream from which we must awake. If we are to taste the waters of reality, which is the flow from the source of life, or divine mind. This awakening is a process of evolution, a little here and a little there, until the whole eye is opened and we see that life is neither separate from God nor different from good. Life is God and life is good, and the only power there is or can be. So to awaken oneself is to be healed, made prosperous, happy and satisfied to the whole, to be complete as we were intended to be. God is a God of the living and not of the dead. You are alive, you are here, you are experiencing, you are in the now, and you alone can make a difference in your life by your thinking, by your actions. Let go of the past. Let go of the future. Live right here, right now, and start to make the change that you want. Regardless of any hullabaloo talking going on around you, make the change you want, because you all deserve the best in life. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You deserve the best in life. And that was from the Science of Mind, that portion that I read. The Great Awakening, page 487, 488 by Dr. Holmes. Dr. Holmes also says in Science of Mind, here and now, not tomorrow and over there. He says, here and now, here and now. We are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. All of the infinite good is ours. We just need to accept it, believe it, receive it, put a request. I know that this is a perfect, whole, complete situation, and I know that I am perfect health now. I know that I am happy now. I know that I am loving now. Whatever it is, fill in the blanks. You have the power of your thought. You have the power of your words. You have the power of your actions, and no one else does. Because you are divine mind in expression in your body, right here, right now, in this moment. So, How much of the infinite good is ours? All of it. Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Alignment, wrote, how often are we living our life on autopilot? Well, we all know driving a car or whatever mode of transportation or even walking, whatever, and it's, oh, I don't remember driving past the grocery store. I don't remember going over the bridge. And yet you're at your destination. But you were so much on autopilot. How much are we living on autopilot? I know personally I am finding I am living on autopilot way more than I ever used to. And it is because of so much of the same old, day after day, because there's limitations that I wasn't used to. But it's my choice. I can make a difference. It's my choice. I can start going out and doing things. It is my choice to change things, to change my thinking and change my life one thought at a time, one moment at a time. It may seem like life is passing us by, but really it isn't. We are living, breathing miracles of life every second of it. We are missing out on life when we aren't mentally present. It's not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. That was a sad comment, but it's true, I think, for many people. So busy waiting for the whatever it is, and they may never know what whatever it is. Well, the only whatever it is we have is right here, right now. So embrace the now, embrace yourself, embrace your body, no matter what physical shape you may think it is. It's the body you have now, and glory, glory, it is yours and no one else's, and you have claim on it, and be thankful for who you are. The funny part I've noticed in life is whenever I have really thought, oh, I would want to be like that person. And there was one person, and I really have to touch my heart. I really wanted to be physically beautiful like that person. And we were friends. I did not know really that person, how they were thinking, how they were acting, aside from my knowing her in situations. That person made a choice, and that person is no longer with us. And I still have dreams, and my heart aches, but I'm still thankful for the joy of knowing that person. So I really have learned a lesson to never be jealous of anyone, but to keep my eyes in my own life, because I have no idea the journey someone else is doing. However, in the now moment, I have the choice to always honor people, say nice things to people, hold my hand out to that person, and tell them what a joy it is to know them, to be with them, or just to have them service at the counter, at the restaurant, or whatever. We have no idea what is going on in their life. But each of us have a power in the now moment to extend love, the love of the divine through us, acknowledging the beautiful divine within them. Oh my goodness, the power we have. Just get in that old Malibu and just step on the gas of life, and away we go, and wow. Now is all we have. That's why it's so important to live in it. What we think, do, and say in the now paves the reality of our future. Thoughts are things. Dr. Holm teaches that over and over again. Words are creative. Sometimes I get the poor me's. And it's like this drama queen comes out of the woodwork, and it's like, oh, mon, poor me, the voice will say. And then I have the other voice, and it'll say, oh, God, bless this voice, I love it. It'll say, smarten up, Tress, you're not dead yet. Quit your whining, get over it, quit woeing me. You see, nothing is bigger than divine mind. And if that's the way divine mind speaks through me sometimes, I'm all for it. Because it's going to get me off of my own so-called poor me's and get me moving and discovering that everything I have is a gift. I just need to discover how it is. And if something no longer serves my good, well, all I have to do is say a word, no. No. You have these little kids. First word they learn, no. No or mine. Well, we can say no to the bad thoughts. We can say mine to a beautiful life, to what is ours. And ours is the kingdom of the divine on earth right here, right now, because we are living it. And when I pay attention to what's happening in the now moment, I discover there's a heck of a lot more going on around me than I realize. The greater my attention is, the more curiosity I have, the more I discover, and the more joy that comes. So of course I have to throw in the birds here, because they're all over the place. But I took advantage when we drove our one grandson, and part of what I've always done is when I have someone with me that's younger, if they are game to it, I'll sneakily try and teach them stuff. So it's always the what birds are we going to see or animals on the way. And we saw these right by Hunting Hills High School, so it's a busy area, 2 huge black birds, way up. So I looked up in the bird book, and from what I can figure out from the shape of their tails and their wings and their heads, they're cormorants. And they're normally by the water. But if they were the cormorants, they could have come from the river too, but they're huge birds. And I saw those. But my grandson, he's now learning, no, Granny, that's not a this, that's a that. So I'm so excited. And then here I discover on my Facebook, on the Neighborhood Crime Watch, well, the big crime was there was a moose on the loose in my neighborhood, which is right down by a main street, and like half a block from my house, there was a moose. I missed it. I'm very disappointed, but it's there to see if I look for it. So what is there to see in our lives to look for? If we have a passion about something, start looking for it, because they will start coming as gifts to us. And it can go right by somebody else and they won't even see it. But then they may see their gift, something they want, something precious to them, because they're in the now moment and they are paying attention. There is one special bird I want to talk about, in that someone paid attention and noticed that there's a white pelican at Frank Lake. And evidently that she has problem flying a little bit. She has lasted in Frank Lake, which is north of here. I think it might even be North Edmonton. I'm not exactly sure. Over 3 winters here. She's making it one day at a time in the now moment. And what's been happening is there are many birds did not migrate this year. So she is having buddies now all together, and they're all huddling together in the little bit of water that's there. But they are being a family. They are keeping each other warm. How are we being a family? How are we treating one another? Are we talking down to someone? Are we thinking we're smarter than someone? Or do we see we are all on the same playing field, doing the best we can? And each of us are such an incredible, unique individual of the divine mind. So Einstein said you can't solve a problem from the same consciousness that created it. So change your thinking, change your life. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. I know you've heard that before, but it's important for me to share this. The man who said that quote was Martin Luther King, Jr. Tomorrow is the day in the USA and maybe other countries where they celebrate Martin Luther King Day. Now, I have listened to and watched Mr. King's 1963 speech at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. for years and years and years. The I Have a Dream. When I see that and hear it, I get goosebumps all over. For I do not see a man talking. I see a connection to the higher power, to the God of his belief. Sometimes I even cry, and I would watch this when I would really want courage. And it would be, for example, when I was going to write a medical terminology test for working, or a job interview, and I would go and I would sit and I would watch this. And I wouldn't just watch it, I would feel it, and I would feel the connection I have to my higher power through his words. Now, he has passed away. He has been assassinated, unfortunately, but it still lives on. The legacy lives on. So what legacy is it you have? What legacy can you start from this moment on? Because you can, like the footsteps in the snow, we're all making footsteps everywhere we go. Every moment we live, we're creating a new experience. Dr. King said, be of service, share your divine love. And I like this part especially. It's talking about you have enough with what you have. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't the size that you win or fail. Be the best at whatever you are. So I challenge you to be the best of whatever you are. For you, all of you are so precious. So I know for you, and I know for me that peace, harmony, joy, love, and perfect health are ours now. And together we say, and so it is. And now it's time for our prosperity affirmation. It's on our pink sheet, and if you will read with me, please. My experience of abundance fills and overflows, washing away any need to hold my good to myself. And so I share and let the good flow freely, knowing that as I give, I am constantly replenished. I count my blessings and live from a grateful heart. Life is good, and so am I, and so it is. And if you wish, you may make a donation, and we do have a donation basket. Also online, if you wish, you may make a donation that way. But it's just wonderful, each of you here, anyone joining in, you are making a donation of your time. So thank you so much for doing that. Now, will you join me in a closing affirmation on the pink sheet? This day I know that the perfection of spirit is active in my body and in the body of my affairs. I am well, wise, prosperous, and joyous. Anything unlike this truth gently falls away from my experience, leaving me free to love my life, and I do, and so it is. And now if you will just close your eyes. Just know with me that there is one mind, one divine energy, the very root of all in, as, and through. And I know today as I step forward that today is a new day of learning, a new day of giving, a new trail in my legacy of life. For I open myself up to the power within. I acknowledge that I am here for a purpose. The purpose is good. I am good. Life is good. Life is God. And together with all our hearts and our souls, we say, and so it is. And thank you for joining us today.